We are here today at Harder Middle School with Mr. Lavorsi. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about your classes.
All right, as you said, Mr. Lavorsi here. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade at Harder. 6th and 7th grade are what we would call industrial arts classes. 6th grade is more of a introduction to power tools. It's a drafting and traditional woodworking. 7th grade, we expand on some of that skills. We also start introducing computer drafting, where students will design a CO2 powered car online, and then we will cut it out in the real world here in the shape, and then we will drag race them across the shop. We also do 3D printing. We design a couple of houses in 3D, and then we will actually build a birdhouse as well. And then my 8th grade class is a residential construction class where students start off by building a concrete form. They will then mix and pour concrete to fill the form, which will make a miniature foundation. Once their foundation is set, then the students will build a subfloor. It's built 16 on center, just like it would be if we were building a house. And then when they finish building that, we take the concrete out of the form. We attach our subfloor to the concrete, and then students will frame a 4-foot wide, 4-foot tall wall. Also it's built 16 on center. We'll sheet it, brace it plumb. Then they will do electrical, where they will run power to a switch, and from the switch down to an outlet. And then we'll plug it in, test it, make sure everything works. After they do that, they will hang drywall, and they will tape and mud a butt joint seam in the middle, so they get experience with that. And then once they get it all looking nice and pretty, I put holes in the wall, and then they have to figure out how to patch the holes on their own. That is the only part that I don't specifically teach them how to do. They have to research and come up with their own ways of patching the holes. And then the last week we do demolition, where we get to break everything apart, which the kids really seem to love. Sometimes a little too much.
Yeah. So how does this lead into some of the other programming in the district?
It's nice. We're able to tie in a lot of stuff. I do some reading and writing in here. Not a ton, but we do some of that. So we're bringing in the ELA. We do a fair amount of math, especially with measuring in fractions of an inch. So I'm bringing in some of that. And then when they leave here and they go to the high school, I work very closely with the teacher over there, Mr. Barron, in setting up and making sure that we kind of have a decent flow into the construction skills programs.
What kind of real life skills are the students learning here?
Really the biggest, besides the actual hands-on, is a lot of teamwork. In 6th and 7th grade, they have to have a partner. 8th grade, it's all group work. So it's interesting to see the kids who kind of rise to be, the natural leaders. And not saying that any of them aren't capable, they all are. Just some tend to be ones that kind of rise up more. Problem-solving skills are incredible because they run into issues that they didn't think they would have. And then the actual hands-on skills. And I tell my students all the time, even if you're not going into a building trade, if you plan on owning a home at some point in your life, these are all things that a homeowner should know how to do.
You save a lot of money.
And if you don't want to, even if you're hiring somebody else to do it, you should understand how it works.
Yeah.
So that you're not getting ripped off and it's being done properly.
All right. Anything else that we should know about the programming here?
Well, it's all 9-week based. So they're doing all of this in a very, very fast pace. We've got to get it all done in that short window of time. To me, it's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy being able to work with the power tools, stress the safety, and it's a great class.
Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourself? And is this the first class you've taken with Mr. Lavorsi?
I took one in 6th grade.
Okay. All right. And this is your first time building a wall?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your wall? By the way, the mud job looks great.
So basically, we had to put wood up, and then we built a wood form first, so that it framed the mold for the concrete base. We put the concrete pattern. There was a lot of nailing. and then we built like the walls, and then connected them together, and then drywall, and now we're sanding the mud we did. We also did electrical, which worked.
All right, it works?
Yeah.
You tested it?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. So what was your favorite part of this?
Probably nailing the drywall. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, doing nails.
Did you do it by hand, or did you have
For the drywall, we did drills.
Okay.
We did both, and then my favorite probably was like doing the concrete, because I like to play with that. Or like the mud and just playing with it. Yeah.
And you're 8th graders, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to take classes like this in high school?
I don't know. It depends.
Depends.
I have like extra time. Yeah.
Good life school though. You guys going to do some construction and play with
Maybe. I think it's
life?
fun. Yeah, it's definitely fun.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a junior at Kaneland.
So, can you tell me about the journey to get to this class for you?
Yeah, so I started with CAD 1 in my freshman year, and then I really loved it, so I decided to take the other engineering classes that we offered, Intro to Engineering, and then Engineering Project Management, and then now I'm here with the Met Capstone class.
And what are some of the things that you've learned along the way?
I learned a lot about design. That's like one of my favorite things that I like to do is design work. I like a lot of math, so I like that math is involved with it. We've learned a lot of like people skills, being able to talk to people, communication, real world applicable skills, like with what we were just doing with the what's it called? Surveying. And like building stuff, using the 3D printers, all that.
All right, so what do you plan to do with all this?
I want to do mechanical engineering and possibly minor in aerospace or biomedical.
Wow,
engineering.
that was hard.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So we're here in Mr. Barron's Met Capstone class, and we are here with?
I'm Riley Adams.
And what year are you, Riley?
I'm a senior.
So tell me about your experience in not just this class, but in the classes that have led up to that.
So I've taken 2 engineering classes before this, and then I got here. I also took CAD 1 and CAD 2.
Okay.
So I've taken almost all of the engineering classes. I just haven't taken the construction classes. So after taking the Intro to Engineering class, I kind of realized that like I kind of enjoyed this. I wanted to learn more. So as I went to more classes, I was looking more towards like the higher level classes.
And what real world skills have you learned in these classes?
Yeah, so Intro to Engineering, we make stuff like those like inflatable balloon cars. So it's like physically making a project. And then as you get more towards like the higher level classes, I'm learning about like skills that I'll need in the workplace and stuff like that. So I've learned how to be a project manager in one of the classes. I've gone on field trips to like different places just to learn how to be an employee, to be a good worker, to like learn how to use all these social skills along with like the intellectual skills that you learn in these classes.
All right, so what do you plan to do with this? Because you're a senior.
Yeah.
So what's the plan after this?
So I'm going to North Central. I'm going to be doing mechanical engineering. And so
Okay.
after it, I hope to like either engineer cars, build cars, something like that, just to like break new molds almost and like create stuff that like people haven't done yet.
All right, fantastic. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Can you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
I'm Evan. I'm a sophomore at Kaneland High School. I've done CAD 1, CAD 2, construction, and then this class now.
You got all that in your first 2 years here?
Yes.
All right,
And then
so
next year I'll be doing construction too. So we'll be building the sheds in the back there where the track where we just surveyed for.
all right, so you took all those in your first 2 years. So what have you learned, and what has your journey been like?
I've learned a lot. I really like doing stuff with manual labor and everything like that. So that's why I take classes like this. So construction was really fun. I learned a lot. And then CAD is just like engineering things, like building houses and all that. A lot of blueprints, a lot of everything.
Do you know what direction you want to take this?
Yes, I'm planning to go get my apprenticeship after high school and then be an electrician.
Okay, fantastic. We're here today with Mr. Barron. Mr. Barron, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your program?
So I'm Eric Barron. I've been at Kaneland for 27 years as either an industrial arts teacher at middle school or a CTE at the high school for like the last 10 years now. Programs are part of the MET, which is Manufacturing, Engineering, Technology, and Trades. And it's been a really enjoyable experience, and my students do really well in a lot of fields. And many of them become very professional and are engineers, architects, and those kinds of things.
Tell us a little bit about some of the different offerings we have in this program.
We have construction fields. We have Introduction to Construction, or Construction 1, where students learn about how to use the different power tools, how to work safely with power tools that would be on a construction site. They also make projects. We've been finishing up, their final was they were making flower box, and they had to make miter cuts and use power nailers and all kinds of different, they had to show expertise with every tool.
Okay.
Construction 2, we get more into the trades. They get their OSHA 10 certifications. We, do some framing. We look at some electrical. And really prepare the students to go right into the trades right out of high school. And then I also teach Engineering 1 and Engineering 2. Engineering 1 is kind of an introduction to the engineering field.
Okay.
A lot of times we say engineer, and students, unless they know somebody,
Right.
don't know what it means. So engineering is, we do some hands-on projects. We create things. We do testing. We learn about the engineering process, the design process. Then the Engineering 2 is project management, where the students learn how to manage a project from start to finish. And that one, we've been doing projects, environmental projects. We've been doing things with the geese that have been coming around to the school, and we've been having a lot of fun with that. And then we also have CAD, which was kind of my specialty. I went to school to be an architect, and I really love the CAD 1, CAD 2. Students learn, about the CAD program in CAD 1. They do some product design. They're going to do some landscape design. They do, see where those programs are utilized. And CAD 2 is pretty much all architecture. We really design an entire house from start to finish.
What are some of the unique projects that, because I know the programs do a lot of things for Kaneland.
Yes.
So what are some of the unique ones that they've done?
Well, we're in my room. We remodeled this last year. We took out bulletin boards and put windows back. We took out carpet, put in new flooring. We did remodeling. Cafe 302 was the first project that I did in the building. We've built the courtyard back behind the shop. We've done a lot of different projects. We've made furniture for some of the elementary schools, and then we're also involved with like I said, the goose project, where we're trying to keep the geese from bothering people at the front entrance, and we're expanding next year to more of our entrances and possibly out by the track and things like that.
All right, cool. Anything else you want to share about the program?
We have had a lot of success. Like I said, I get reached out to all the time from students who are, been with me 10 years ago or something like that, and they tell me what they're up to. We have people that are working on self-driving cars. We have students who are working for our architect firm that we're using to do our remodeling here on the school. So we do a lot of things, and I have many who have gone right into the trades. I actually had one who was a plumber, came to my house and replaced my water tank for me. So it's really cool. It's really a great experience. So.